Right, so, comic book review video. I did say I wanted to start doing these as streams. I think I'll start doing that when there's more books to talk about. Just because this is a light week, so I thought I might as well just do a video of this when there starts getting more books to actually talk about, and once I'm definitively sure that the books for that week are the books for that week. Probably doesn't make any sense, but it'll make sense in my head. Also, I just wanted to do it as a video this week. I just wanted to do it as a video this week. I might start doing them as streams once the gaming streams slow down a little bit. Right now we've got Prince of Persia going on. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is happening next month. I don't know if I'm going to be getting that day one, but I am going to get it at least in March, a month after. But you know, I'm gonna at least check it out. And we've got Star Wars Jedi Survivor that we've got to finish off as well. But without further ado, I'm just going to crack on into the books that I read this week. This is a sequel video, if you will, to the comic book haul video. If you haven't watched that, go watch that first, so you know which books I am talking about in this video. If you've already seen that, then you know what books I'm going to talk about. So we're going to jump straight in with Avengers number 9. I'm going to say it right now. None of the books I read this week were bad. I don't think there's a bad book this week. But what I will say is I think that this Avengers run just isn't doing it for me. I'm interested in certain things. The B-plot with Kang is kind of interesting. I'm interested to see where that goes. There's not really a B-plot with Kang. It is kind of the A-plot and everything surrounds it. But what Kang is doing in this, I want to see where that ends up. The whole stuff, everything surrounding the nightmare stuff seems like it was completely useless. Maybe that might come in later on. I don't know, but it seems like the nightmare stuff was just in there to give a reason for the Avengers to be out of action for the first issue of this arc. But the stuff with this team, this is just a big fight issue, to be honest. And the thing with a big fight issue is it's either done really, really well or it's done kind of poorly. This is kind of in the middle. I like the interactions between the villains and the Avengers. I do think it does that thing in the middle of the book where they're like, let's swap who we're fighting, because we're too evenly matched with who our opponents are at the moment. And again, it does feel very easy when we're setting up these new characters and we're setting up these new threats to be like big threats, and then the Avengers just need to like, let's swap opponents, or let's fight harder than we fought before. You know, when that's kind of how they're beating the villains, then it kind of isn't interesting to me. But what I will say about this is I am at least interested in where the story's going with Kang, and I do like the art. The book looks beautiful, and you know, Jed MacKay is referencing stuff that's happening that's happened in Moon Knight. He's referencing stuff that's happening in his Doctor Strange book. So, you know, I like that. I'm not sure if I'm 100% on everything else and on the main story of the book. I don't know if this is the best Avengers thing since sliced bread, but I'm far enough in the weeds with it now where I'm with the book now. We ramp up slightly in quality with Blade. And another thing with Avengers, every issue just feels really thin, and the same with Blade. I have started to see where even when you do go and read this book in trade, it's gonna be a quick read, even when you collect it in trade. And we are doing this big saga with Blade. It's not like 6-issue arc. This is issue 7, and it's part 7 of the story, so it's going to be a big, sprawling, like, epic. At least, like, a 10-issue thing. Like, the next issue is Blade's going to go to hell, and Casagrande is back for that issue, so that should be a lot better than this. Not that this is bad. We do get Blade getting a new power. He can turn into a wolf now, which, you know... whether they translate that into the movie, I don't know, because this has literally just come out, and the movie has already been written. This is also a team up with Hulk, kind of. Hulk is in this, but he doesn't get anything to say, and they certainly don't fight. This is just Bruce Banner calls Blade to deal with some demons, and Blade finds out he can turn into a wolf. Or we find out that Blade can turn into a wolf, and supposedly that's something that he learned from Dracula, and Blade ends the book by figuring out that he needs to go to hell to make to build an army to go fight the Adana. Again, very, like, thin, but it's a good book, and I feel like the book is better when Casagrande's on art, and missing Casagrande, having a guest artist in, really is hurting the book, because it doesn't have that style, and it doesn't have that kinetic kind of feeling. It doesn't feel like it's moving. All of the drawings and all of the art feels very static in this issue, which is, you know, not something you want to see in a comic book in any capacity. We then move to Blue Beetle number 5. The next issue is the big final issue of this first arc. At least I hope first arc. I don't want this to be a mini-series. I am loving this series, though. Even still loving this series. This is just like... Jaime goes to... Susan Sarandon from the movie, but goes to Ted's sister, Victoria Cord, and is like, we need a thing that can kill the blood scarab. And she's like, sure, done. I'll do it. And big fight ensues in a football stadium, and the weapon that's supposed to defeat the blood scarab ends up making him stronger. There is stuff surrounding it. Blue Beetle puts his team together. He kind of makes a plan of how to defeat the blood scarab, and it all goes tits up, essentially. So we've got the big conclusion next issue of Blue Beetle taking on the blood scarab alone. So yeah, I love the art in this. I love how it's written. I love how it feels. It it has that kind of like kinetic energy that is missing from something like Blade. It's a beautiful looking book, and just pick up Blue Beetle. If you haven't already been reading it, just go read it. It's such a good series, and I hope it lasts for longer than 6 issues, because it deserves to. Trujillo has been doing a really good job with Jaime. He's got a really good voice for the character, and yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily on board with all of the supporting cast yet, but that's why I wanted it to go for longer than the 6 issues, because I want to be invested, and it feels like it's adding new characters in every issue, and I want to feel investment for those characters as much as I have investment for Jaime. And I just want to see more of the artwork, to be honest. A surprise for me, considering I wasn't too big on the last issue, is Fantastic Four number 15. Ryan North and Fiorilli on art, on pencils. Gorgeous book, gorgeous looking book. I feel like I've got to get it out for the just to show off a certain splash page when the kids come back. And is that not just gorgeous? And this is up here, and this is this high, just for the fact of when the kids come back, Reed takes a picture of the family together, and he sends it to Doctor Doom, and he's like, it just feels like the right thing to do, and that's just a beautiful moment for me, and it is one of those things that doesn't make sense if you don't know the context around it, but from that and from issue 7, it just tells you how much Ryan North cares about these characters and how much reverence he has for the kind of mutual the mutual kind of respect that, well, the respect that Reed has for Victor, but the kind of unspoken, almost like the unspoken mutual respect that those two characters have, and it's one of those things where they hate each other, but Reed also realizes, yeah, Victor's a human, and he did help deliver Valeria Richards. He deserves to know that she's safe and she's fine, and it's a beautiful moment where we don't really see, we just see the photo and Doom looking at it, but that's all you really need. You don't need anything more than that. You don't need more than a page to just be like, yeah. And you don't need to see what Doom's reaction to that is as well, because you can just infer it. The actual story in the book is that the Baxter Building didn't come back because the app that was created in the last issue gained sentience and put things in place to make sure that the Baxter Building didn't come back. And it's written almost like a Stephen King novel, where you have people on the street that are saying things to Reed that are just like popping up on their phone, and they're only reading it because it's like a Triple Gem weekend and stuff like that. So Reed then makes a rival app, and it ends with Reed and this app getting kind of a friendship almost, and then the Baxter building comes back through various means, and the kids come back, and then that's the crux of the story. And so we're going on now with this Fantastic Four run where the kids are now back. Valeria and Franklin and the two kids that Ben and Alicia adopted are now back, and they're going to be appearing in the run as well. I want to see what Ryan North's voice for that is, and I want to see consequences for them missing a year, basically, and I want to see how they react to where the Marvel Universe is now. Especially if Franklin is going to have anything to do with friggin' whatever is going on with X-Men at the moment, whether it's going to tie in with Fall of X, because Franklin is technically a mutant. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen with all of that. But my pick of the week, the best book of the week, hands down, and it didn't even come out this week, just the best book that I read this week, hands down, is Ultimate Spider-Man #1. And I think I'm going to make a separate TikTok thing about this as well, because, and I barely ever talk about comics over on my TikTok. I only talk about like the movies and stuff over there. I talked about The Flash #1 just because that issue kind of took me by surprise in a way that I didn't expect. This I was wholly expecting to enjoy, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. And I related to Peter in a way that I never have before, because even with Ultimate Spider-Man, the original Ultimate Spider-Man, being a Brit, I don't really relate to the struggles of a teenager in America. It's a different lifestyle. It's a different thing entirely, and also, growing up as a nerd in the 2010s in the UK was a very different experience to early 2000s nerd in America, and what that was, the crowd that was trying to relate to was very different to, or was different to what I was looking for. And I when I did actually read that book, I enjoyed it. I relate to an extent, but I was also in a part of my life where I was leaving school, and I didn't relate to it as much as I probably would have if I was still in school or if I was in college when I did read it. This is an older Peter, much older than I am. This is like a mid-30s Peter that just feels stuck, that feels like in a rut, that he's going nowhere, and he's just waiting for the other shoe to drop. He's got everything that he kind of needs. He's got a stable job. He's got, Uncle Ben's still alive in this universe, but Aunt May was killed at the end. Aunt May died in a seeming terrorist attack, but it was something that happened at the end of Ultimate Invasion, which I do not care about. I don't care for how much Ultimate Invasion or how much Iron Man kind of has to do in this book. But it's also a very small part of the book. But yeah, I don't care for it, but I understand why, and I understand that there's no real other way that they could have gotten Peter his powers without including Tony or without including Iron Man. But the fact that Uncle Ben's alive and getting Uncle Ben and Jonah to have this kind of brotherly relationship, and to see Peter have kind of two father figures through Jonah and Ben, and that scene where Jonah is helping Peter fix up his tie is a really cool moment. And just this, I kind of just relate to Peter in this. Like, not in a way where, like, Peter's married with kids. I'm not married with kids, obviously. But just that idea of, like, your life going nowhere, or feeling like you're going nowhere and feeling stuck in a rut. That's where I was last year. That's exactly where I was last year. And obviously, I'm not, like, mid-30s. I'm not, but I feel like if you are, you'll probably relate to this book a lot more than I did. And I related to this book a lot. And I related to where Peter is in this book a lot. Which is weird. And I expected to enjoy it from a storytelling standpoint, but I didn't expect to relate to it, and I didn't expect to care about this version of Peter so quickly. And he's not even a main character in this book. It doesn't feel like. This feels much more like a Ben Parker book. Like, Jonah has more to say in this than Peter does, and I feel like that kind of adds more to the point where Peter feels like a bystander in his own life at this point. And yeah, congrats to Jonathan Hickman for making me relate to Spider-Man in a way that I haven't before, in a big bad way. And like, everyone talks about Spider-Man being the relatable character of the Marvel Universe, and where that is true to a certain extent, I feel like this version of Peter is the most relatable version, the most relatable yet. And I feel like this is the most, like, ordinary guy version of Spider-Man. We don't even know if he's necessarily that smart. We don't know if he's that athletic. Obviously, he gets powers by the end of this issue. He gets a suit, which we don't really see a good look at the suit yet, but we do get a glimpse of something, and it's not really clear what the suit even will look like in this yet. I'm just interested to see where this goes. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the villains. We already get Wilson Fisk in this. We get the Green Goblin in this. And I'm not 100% on the design for the Green Goblin. Wilson Fisk looks like Wilson Fisk. Would have been interesting to see them go a bit different with Kingpin, and to make him look different. This might even have been the book to make him look more like the 2003-2004 Daredevil movie Kingpin, the Michael Clark Duncan one. This could have been where you do that, and you go for a black Kingpin, that'd be a way to differentiate it from the main Marvel universe, because that's what you're doing. You're going like the extreme way, and a way to differentiate from the previous Ultimate Universe as well. Just an idea, maybe. I have to see if Awesome Fist makes it through the first arc, because his car gets bombed by the Goblin in this, and the Green Goblin suit, I think it's fine. It looks like a Power Ranger suit. It looks like a kind of modernization of the 2001 suit, which, you know, is fine. It's certainly a lot better than the original Ultimate Universe Green Goblin, where he looked like the Hulk with horns. But yeah, I really liked this book. In a week of good books, and I'm saying as if Ultimate Spider-Man did come out this week, in a month of really good books, because I've got Avengers Twilight, which came out this week, that I haven't picked up yet, but I have it in my standing orders to pick up, but I haven't picked it up yet. I've heard that that's really good as well. But yeah, in a month of great Marvel stuff specifically, Ultimate Spider-Man is a standout, and only makes me more excited for Black Panther, Ultimate Black Panther. Do I think it's going to be as good as that? I don't know. I hope it is, because then there's two really good Ultimate books, and it's the first two, and then hopefully X-Men's good for the people that want to read Ultimate X-Men. I'm not a big Peach Momoko person. It just doesn't speak to me in that way. But I know that she has an audience, and that people will flock to that book. And I hope people flock to Ultimate Spider-Man. I hope people flock to Ultimate Black Panther, to be honest. Black Panther is the one that I'm worried about, though. It's the one that I see being like, this could easily not sell very well, and they turn it into a mini-series, or they turn it into a maxi-series, and it not be ongoing. And that's what I'm worried about, because that is the one that I'm the most excited about. But yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man, really good. Go buy it. Go to your local comic book shop. Ask for Ultimate Spider-Man. And just you know, enjoy the ride. Because it's laying the groundwork for something that is probably going to be really special. And even if it's not, the first issue is really special. So I hope as it goes forward, it only goes from strength to strength. And I don't mind that it feels like a slow burn. It didn't, actually. It felt like a really quick read. And it felt like a fulfilling read. It didn't feel like a quick read in the same way that Blade feels like a quick read, where it feels like you're not getting your money's worth for it. It feels like a quick read in the way that, you know, you want to keep reading. It's a page turner in that way. If I were to be a proper novel reviewer for a minute, it is a freaking page turner. It's a great book. It's a great first issue. So anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you agree with me. If you don't, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of Ultimate Spider-Man, because that is the comic that I can guarantee that if you haven't already read it, that's the one that I think everyone watching this will have read. I think it's great. I think it's one of the best comics I've read in years. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you thought of the books that I picked, the books that I read this week. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, Let me know. Let's have a conversation in the comments. See you guys in the next one. Mace.